describe what happened to you. Uh, let's have a little stay away from
We're all curious about Damar Hamlin's interview responses, right? How interesting they were, how I end up finding things. They pose a lot of questions, okay? Let's just say that the statistics are very, very fascinating and disturbing. So this is an article that Biz News posted. I was searching and searching all over the internet to try to find some non-biased information in regard to the Damar Hamlin situation and also many other cases where, let's just say, young healthy athletes or people that are really young and healthy and in their prime are seeming to just suddenly fall down and collapse. Let's look at both sides of the coin here, right? Yeah, it seems like the truth is very hard to come by these days. I'm going to share what I've found with you guys, at least. Anyway, normalization of sudden surge among athletes demonstrates the extent of our societal pathology. Between 2021 and 2022, more than 1,650 professional and amateur athletes collapsed due to cardiac events, 1,148 of these incidents ending in their ends. This rise in the collapse and sudden among the most unlikely group of people coincided with the introduction of the grossly glorified mRNA 19 scenes to the general public. Regarding these figures, however, there are few critical points to note. Not for lack of trying, the vaccination status of these athletes remains unknown, as players were reportedly told not to reveal their vaccination status. September 3rd, 2021, the rate of vaccinated players among major North American sports leagues averaged above 90%. I don't know if the mainstream media has been sharing numbers accurately, because I've heard different numbers, but that is coming from, as reported by NBC Sports. Okay. So this article, whoever's done this article, Biz News, has done their homework. Okay. They've been doing their homework and their due diligence. And if you just really dig a little bit and you know how to research and maybe not only use the like very controlled and monitored search engine, you might get a more unbiased perspective. So, all right. Mainstream media's contemptible normalization of what is unquestionably a tragic anomaly deserving of rigorous investigation personifies the unethical abandonment of truth and ignorance central to the continuation of the narrative. Brought to you by Pfizer. McCullough, an esteemed cardiologist and internist who has demonstrated an unfailing courage to challenge the narrative, weighs in on the likely cause of these tragic ends. They're talking about the video that's featured right here. This is Dr. Peter McCullough. He was explaining some things that I'm going to read to you right now. But story at a glance, we'll just read it. Over the past 2 years, 2021 and 2022, more than 1,650 professional and amateur athletes have collapsed due to cardiac events, and 1,148 of them proved fatal. Damar Hamlin, a 24-year-old Buffalo Bills football player, went into cardiac arrest on live television after being tackled during a January 2nd, 2023 game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Team trainers and emergency medical staff performed CPR for more than 9 minutes, which saved his life. Whether the jab played a role in what happened to Hamlin is impossible to know for sure, but Dr. Peter McCullough suspects it may have played a role. He's saying provided he actually got the shot, because they were saying in the beginning that the players have been ordered to not disclose their status is, right? And even like their teams of professionals that they work with are all not speaking on this as well. keeping it very quiet, close to the chest, I guess you want to say. A condition called commotio cordis is known to occur in baseball when a player is hit hard on the breastbone, thereby causing cardiac arrest. There are approximately 20 to 30 such cases each year, but never in pro football. In McCullough's view, commotio cordis can likely be ruled out. The more likely cause for Hamlin's cardiac event, he believes, is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, HCM, or abnormal thickening of the heart muscle, which is the primary cause for athletes suffering cardiac arrest. Keep listening. During exercise, adrenaline is pumping, and when the heart is damaged, this adrenaline rush is what triggers the cardiac arrest. This helps explain not only the death of athletes on the field or people while jogging, but also why so many are in their sleep, because adrenaline is released between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. as your body readies to wake up. During the witching hour, very interesting, is when your adrenaline is released naturally in your body. I wonder what that means for practicing fitness. You know what I mean? Those that do rituals utilizing that sanguine energy. With every passing day, the list of people suffering tragic consequences from the mRNA shots grows longer. As of December 23, 2022, the U.S. Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System, VAERS, they call it VAERS, had received 33,334 reports of post-jab events, 26,045 cases of myocarditis, and 15,970 heart attacks. So those are real numbers. Those are numbers from the Adverse Events Reporting System. Go look it up. Many of these people and their stories have remained hidden from public view, as social media have universally censored these stories. That's what I'm talking about. I was trying to search the internet. Can't find any unbiased information about this. All you find is article after article after article that will really honestly just label people as like conspiracy theorists versus like take responsibility or accountability for their own actions. I don't know, but narcissists rarely do, right? Says many of these people and their stories have remained hidden from public view as social, and also, it makes me wonder, are they ordering them not to speak? Yeah, they are. Admittedly, already in the article, it says that they are being ordered not to speak on the matter. So covering something up, maybe, possibly? I don't know. I'm just reading this article. As a result, people who only read mainstream media are largely unaware of the damage being done. However, there is a population of people whose injuries and deaths have been far more public. Over the past 2 years, 2021 through 2022, more than 1,650 professional and amateur athletes have collapsed due to cardiac events, and 1,148 of them proved fatal. In his book, Cause Unknown, The Epidemic of Sudden Deaths in 2021 and 22, Edward Dowd writes extensively about the anomalous number of deaths now occurring among athletes, which, despite fact checkers' best efforts to dismiss it as normal, is anything but. The numbers are staggering, you guys. Well, these numbers are staggering in and of themselves. I mean, people are literally saying like no one ever hit from the jab, but that is untrue. Because if you were to check the data from the VAERS system, it would show that there were reportedly at that point in time in 2022, just last year. Come on, we're barely in 2023, y'all. Just last year in 2022, these numbers would have reported that over 33,000 deaths occurred post-jab. What happened to Damar Hamlin? More likely, reiterating that they performed CPR on him for 9 minutes, which did recover his life, save his life at that point. After initially being placed in a medically induced coma, Hamlin was reportedly on the mend within a week. Whether the jab played a role in what happened to Hamlin is impossible to know for sure. Looking at the replays, it's clear he took a very severe hit right to the chest before his collapse, and this certainly could have caused the heart attack. At bare minimum, it's not unheard of. Former Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker had a similar incident in 2017, as did hockey legend Chris Pronger in 1998. On the other hand, it's also not inconceivable that the jab, if Hamlin was in fact VX, could have affected his heart, thereby playing a contributing role. We now know the COVID shot is associated with a significantly elevated risk of myocarditis, which in turn raises the risk of sudden cardiac event in contact sports. While the NFL enforced strict COVID jab rules for employees who have contact with players, the players and coaches were not subject to mandates. That said, 95% of players did get the shot, according to the NFL league. So they weren't telling them they had to, but they were insinuating that they really wanted them to. In a January 4, 2023 Children's Health Defense interview, Dr. Peter McCullough, a cardiologist and internist, reviewed what could have happened in Hamlin's case. As noted by McCullough, a condition called commotio cordis, Latin for agitation of the heart, is known to occur in baseball, right? When the players hit hard on the breastbone, thereby causing cardiac arrest, with only 20 to 30 cases each year. However, in the 100 years of pro football, never occurred in football. Football players have padding that protects the breastbone, so in McCullough's view, commotio cordis can likely be ruled out. The more likely cause for Hamlin's cardiac arrest, he believes, is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM, abnormal thickening of the heart muscle, which is the primary cause. Boom, we already read that. The reason why HCM is the number one cause is because it causes few, if any, symptoms and often goes undiagnosed. Professional athletes undergo extensive medical evaluation and cardiovascular screening before being given the green light to play, and they also constitute the healthiest segment of society in general. So most heart problems are ruled out before they ever enter the field. So it's not like these people are just going in here with congenital heart problems that the doctors wouldn't catch in these very rigorous screening sessions. Like, come on here. The elephant in the room, however, according to McCullough, is the jab. Before these hots were rolled out, the average number of cardiac arrests in all European soccer and football leagues combined was 29 per year. Since the advent of the its shots, 1,598 European pro athletes have suffered cardiac arrest, y'all, giving us a comparative annual tally of nearly 800. Of those 1,598 cardiac arrests, 1,101 of them were fatal. So most of them were fatal. Paulo and Polycretis have been and still are calling for a proper investigation of these ents. McCullough suspects jab-induced myocarditis. McCullough and Polycretis suspect the jab-induced myocarditis is the explanation for the otherwise inconceivable increase in cardiac arrests among athletes, and McCullough believes it also tops the list of potential reasons for Hamlin's cardiac arrest. Considering 95% of NFL players have received the jab as of March 2022, per the NFL's numbers. McCullough cites research showing about 2.5% of jab recipients sustain heart damage. Whoa, that's actually a pretty high percent. That's not a low percentage. Like, that's a lot. So it says 90% of them being men. What? And in about half of all jab-related myocarditis cases, there are no symptoms to alert you there might be a problem. As explained by McCullough, myocarditis causes scarring on the heart and is this scarring that causes an abnormal electrical rhythm, ventricular tachycardia, and sudden adult syndrome. SADS, y'all. There are now more than 200 scientific papers on jab-related myocarditis. 200 jab-related papers. So these are scientific papers, research papers, right? Legit research papers that are written probably by doctors or healthcare professionals. A January 2023 study in the European Journal of Pediatrics found high levels of circulating spike protein in 16 male high school students hospitalized with myocarditis induced by the aughts, which again suggested the spike protein your body produces a key pathogenic factor. McCullough explains in greater detail how the aught may have triggered Hamlin's cardiac arrest. During play, adrenaline is pumping, and when the heart is damaged, this adrenaline rush is what triggers the cardiac arrest. So that's what we were reading about in the beginning about the adrenaline coming in and then causing cardiac arrest to an already damaged heart. This helps explain not only the of athletes on the field or people eyeing while jogging, but also why many are eyeing in their sleep, because adrenaline is released between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. as your body readies to wake up. 1,696% increase in sudden M among athletes. Whatever caused Hamlin's cardiac arrest, and hopefully a careful medical investigation after his recovery will clarify what happened. There's no doubt that athletes in general are eyeing in far greater numbers now than ever before. The number of athletes who eyed suddenly between January 2021 and 2022 was 1,696% above the historical monthly norm between 1996 and 2004. Let those numbers sink in for y'all. That is the normalization of this pathological, what did they call it? No, societal pathology. pathological societal pathology. Let that one sink in. Those numbers are pretty shocking, I'm just gonna say. I mean, I'm not forming any opinions in regard to this matter. I'm not saying that the jab does or doesn't. Like they said, it may be impossible to be able to tell with the bias, with really only access to biased information and the complete lack of diverse information and research here. So between January 2021 and April 2022 was 1,696% above the historical monthly norm. If you see those numbers and you still aren't a little suspicious, at least, I don't know. I don't know, because look at this little chart. This is an actual chart here to show you the comparative difference of ETs due to cardiac events. It is not normal for these athletes to just be falling down on the field like that. They've been screened. Why are they just suddenly? Is there a common thread? I'm guessing there is. 95% of all of these professional athletes are, well, the football players, at least the NFL's disclosed, jabbed. So the following graph illustrates the rise in recorded athlete collapses and ETs between January 2021, the month the COVID aughts started to roll out, and April 2022. By the time, so I remember they had said that during that window of time, they wanted like 3/4 of the population to be vaccinated. And so I'm pretty sure they got their numbers that they were wanting. They did. It was successful. A lot of people, around 3/4 of the population, did actually receive, I believe, the vaccine. Potentially making this one of the largest global coincidences, I'll just call them. Insert the word probably conspiracy for coincidence, and then you'll catch my drift. But, another word you're not really allowed to say, even though it's allowed to be loosely thrown around to describe people who think for themselves and who actually take a little bit of time to go and look up real life legitimate statistics like the ones we're seeing in this article right now that are quite shocking and undeniable, like I said. So 1,696%. The rate in athletes who've likely been vaccinated has increased. Okay. That's not, and even at that rate, the numbers are different. It's saying right here, because even before those ETs were like over a period of all these years, right? Between 1966 and 2004, there was like this like very small numbers, very, very small. If you're like stretching it over that span of time, small numbers. But the numbers seem to be pretty exponential in just 16 months. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, between 2021 and 2022, 16 months. So that's a lot. The numbers are just significantly higher in every way. Like over such a short period of time compared to a longer period of time, the numbers are like soaring. They're soaring. Like this number right here, 1,696%. Risk of cardiovascular damage soars after a second shot. A nearly 1,700% increase in sudden cardiac related among athletes is inexplicable unless you take the experimental jabs into account. Research published in November 2021 found inflammatory markers, signs of cardiovascular damage rose dramatically after the second shot, and the risk of heart attacks and other heart related problems more than doubled in the months following these injections. Pre-jab patients had an 11% 5-year risk of heart attack. Post-jab, that risk rose to 25%, a 227% increase in risk. Okay, so pre-jab patients were at an 11% risk over 5 years to have heart attack, and that increased to 25% actually, which is a 227% increase in risk, as reported by the expose. And other statistics also reveal heart damage has become ubiquitous among those who got one or more jabs. Oh my God. So they're definitely saying like just heart damage is ubiquitous here to synonymous almost. It's going to become synonymous with the jab. So it's crazy how mainstream media is literally nowadays just making up whatever the hell they want. Like literally just making up whatever they want. I'm kind of worried for future generations because I'm feeling like future generations are they're not going to know the truth anymore. They're not going to even know how to discern truth from fiction because they will literally follow wherever they're led, and they're being led astray. Like, where's the information? Like, where's the truth? Why aren't people really talking about this? Why are they trying so hard to silence this information? Why are you allowing them to create this cognitive dissonance in you if you are out there doing that? Like, come on, y'all. It wouldn't hurt to just think about it, you know? Acute cardiac failure rates are now 475 times the normal baseline rate in bears. Look at that. Tachycardia rates are 7,973 times the baseline rate. Acute myocardial infarction, heart attack, is 412 times the baseline rate. The rates of internal hemorrhage, peripheral artery thrombosis, and coronary artery occlusion are all over 300 times the baseline rate. It doesn't take a genius to work out that 19 jab is the reason the monthly average number of athletes was 1,700% higher than the expected rate by April 2022. Sudden the number one cause of for under 65s in 2021. Really? That's weird. In late December 2022, Steve Kirsch also published data showing the aughts are a public health disaster. According to the results of a survey Kirsch conducted, sudden was the number one cause of deaths in 2021 and 2022 among Americans under 65 who had received the jab. The second and third causes of in this group were cardiac-related and cancer, respectively. Importantly, the incidence of turbocharged cancer among the jabbed was also significant, and myocarditis killed more than 19. I don't know. Among the unjabbed, the primary cause of for people 65 and younger in 2021 and 2022 was hospital treatment for C19. We'll call it that. Incidences of sudden pulmonary embolism and turbocharged cancers were all low, and there were no unknown causes of nor any myocarditis. So among people who did not receive the jab, 65 and younger, no myocarditis. No myocarditis compared to super increased numbers that we were looking at just a moment ago. This is all legit info, yo. All right. Among the unjabbed, the primary cause of oh, we already read that. Okay. So it says sudden rates are off the charts for the jabbed, way more than those that didn't. So, and it says myocarditis as a cause of is registering now for both age ranges, but only for the jabbed. Cardiac issues as a cause of in jabbed young people are significantly elevated versus their unjabbed peers. While we cannot make any definitive statements, and we're not, about what caused Hamlin's cardiac arrest, one thing that is not in doubt is that immediate and ongoing CPR is what saved his life. 9 minutes is a long time to give CPR, and most people will simply give up after 2 or 3 minutes. Hamlin's case is proof positive that sometimes you need to give CPR for an extended period of time. Okay. As many who got the experimental shots will have some level of heart damage that raises their risk of cardiac arrest and sudden the need for CPR know-how is only going to grow. So please learn CPR. It could be the difference between life and of someone you love. Also consider investing in an automated external defibrillator AED for your home and or office. I agree. As a healthcare professional, I have to know these things. And have actually had to enact life-saving methods on 2 different occasions when I was working as a caregiver, but it definitely can come in handy to know, you guys, especially with what it's saying. Like, we can't make definitive statements. However, you definitely definitively can say that there has been an increase in myocarditis and actually heart damage in the jabbed, period. It's true. The numbers are here. This is all legit statistics. So learn how to do CPR. That's what this article is saying. Unfortunately, the numbers are pretty undeniable. I'm not making any opinions on this, you know. Let's just look at this one really quick. Here we have an article by Newsweek, of course. So this is proof that in the mainstream, we've got them immediately pointing fingers at conspiracy theorists, I guess. But just look how they go out of their way to really just like be like, call conspiracy theorists, you know. Here he is though, all I wonder why he's wearing sunglasses. Maybe, you know, sometimes when you get like that much CPR and like, I mean, I don't know, maybe there's like veins in his eyes or something. But is it a clone? I highly doubt it. That's really a theory that for me, like even me going like super far out into the extreme world of thinking and infinite possibilities, I have not really gone there too much with the cloning. I'm sure, I mean, there is cloning technology, of course, but I saw the interview with Damar Hamlin. We all did, and that's kind of why I'm making this video also. Like, the interview was weird. His response was weird. It was disturbing, as a matter of fact. And he looked really disturbed himself, and he looked like scared to speak on the matter. So he declined to speak on the matter. And I mean, I'm sure for good reason. So I was going to look up one other thing. Let's go to Google. Let me go to Google really quick. I'm going to look up just another case where actually let's use, there we go. Just DuckDuckGo because it's giving us a little bit more free searching ability, a little less biased results here. Okay. Okay, so it seems like, wow, I'm noticing a lot of articles here, right? Check it out. So here's some articles. Looks like this athlete, 29-year-old Tom Edwards, the captain of Selby RUFC rugby team, suddenly last week. Interesting. Have more athletes suddenly since the C19 jabs arrived? Wow, it says there's two different circumstances here or situations where somebody named Sharon Manning, 71, was unable to be resuscitated when she suddenly became ill. Check it out. Sudden cardiac arrest is leading cause of in young athletes. 1 month ago on CBS, that was an article. Okay. This rugby player right here, that's I think who it was talking about, Tom something, high school athlete. These are young people in their prime, y'all. This is absolutely strange. Do not let the mainstream media normalize things that are absolutely bizarre here. Like, we need to be able to think for ourselves, you guys, at least. And if it's your life on the line, then honestly, who cares? I'd rather be called an conspiracy theorist than freaking end up saying. Sorry that I have to talk like that. Fill in the blanks. 3 high school athletes sudden cardiac arrest. When was this? Look at this. Study, this is yournews.com. Study finds athlete ants are 1,700% higher than expected since C19 jabs. Like, the lists just go on and on and on and on and on. Look at this one. 2021, Indiana high school athlete of sudden cardiac arrest. Look at this. And then here we go. USA Today also trying to gaslight, man. That's really what this is. Just master gaslighting tactics. Look at this. At least 69 athletes collapse in 1 month. Many, Nevada. Look at this. This is a government website. At least 69 athletes collapse in 1 month. Many, the reports of athletes who suddenly collapse have been increasing noticeably lately. Heart problems such as heart inflammation are often the cause. One of the known life-threatening effects of the... Wow, look at that. That is a government PDF article. Look at this. This is likely a peer-reviewed article. This is on a government website. Wow. Oh, wow. I wish I could keep this. I think I can. Oh, look, I can download it. I'm going to download it. Let's just save it. Whatever. Okay, so... It says the current phenomenon is also evident if you simply look on Wikipedia at the list of footballers who have collapsed, and the year 2021 stands out with 13 entries so far. In no year before have this many players during a game. Going back to 1889, you guys. Look at that. So it really is a historical event, they're saying. This is a historical event. Look at this. These numbers. I'm not going to read this whole article. I'm going to read this to myself, and then maybe we'll make a part 2. Look at these are all names of people. These are all names of people in situations and instances where people just suddenly collapsed. 69. Not in the news. Epidemiology. It is negligent to ignore the jabbed as a source of transmission when deciding about public health control measures, said by Robert W. Malone, MD. The epidemiological relevance of C19 jabbed population is increasing, has important aggregated data on the significance of the vaccinated as sources for transmission. What? Okay, we gotta stop because now we're just getting a little too deep almost. Like, what's going on here? Whoa. Okay. All right. We're done with that. Okay, this article by Newsweek definitely did try to Called people. I can't believe how dare they. The audacity to call people conspiracy theorists. Oh my God. It's conspiracy theorists. Those numbers are from the NFL and from the actual the actual at scene injury reporting system. These are real statistics and numbers, y'all. Okay, I'm done. I mean, let's take a look at this one. Last thing. Social media is suspicious after Damar Hamlin refused to answer important questions during interview with Michael Strahan. Buffalo Bills safety gave his first major interview since suffering from cardiac arrest on Monday Night Football on January 2nd against, we already know, the Cincinnati Bengals. However, there was one question he decided to steer clear from. Hamlin spoke with Michael Strahan for an interview that appeared on Good Morning America. The former NFL player pointed out how Hamlin was young and in shape and asked how he could suffer from cardiac arrest after making a tackle in the Buffalo Bills Week 17 game against the Bengals. Hamlin paused for a bit and then declined to answer. I thought it was funny how he just slipped it in there. I kind of wonder, I mean, that I don't think that question was on the script. Like I think he just slid that in there. I don't think that was on there. I don't think that Damar was like expecting that. So I really feel like he just slid that in there because he just almost didn't know how to react. But you're 24, peak physical condition. How did doctors describe what happened to you? He's like, you're 24, peak physical condition. How did doctors describe what happened to you? Strawn asked. Hamlin said, his face changed, then paused for several seconds. That's something I'm going to stay away from. Strand then asked whether Hamlin had ever had any signs of heart problems. Honestly, no. I've always been a healthy, young, fit, energetic human being. It was something that we're still processing and still talking through with my doctors just to see what everything was, Hamlin said. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his eyes. He knows something and he is not telling. Baby, that's something I want to stay away from. Yeah, he is not talking. Okay. They've told him he can't, and he probably has had to sign some kind of NDA or non-disclosure agreement to say that he would not talk about this. I mean, I'm 100% guessing. 100% in here. What am I saying? There's facts. There's actually factual information in this entire thing. But go ahead and bet that the government loves to gaslight. And we're being censored all on social media as well for speaking about the truth. But you can't deny this. You can't deny. It says, I view that. This person says, AZM TN Biker 480 says, I view that long pause with as him struggling between doing what he knows is morally right, which would be to warn others, and giving the answer that he knows the NFL wants him to give. But we all know he doesn't have to say it. No, he said it. The pause said it all. And thank you for this article, Biz News. Like, this was pretty eye-opening to say the least. And I mean, I hadn't even actually looked into these numbers yet. So the 1,696 to 1,700% increase in heart-related events since the jab has been released upon the population. It's just all quite undeniable. And, I did have to make a video about this because I'm tired of being quiet. I also do not want to be one of these people that just sticks my head in the sand anymore. I'm going to find ways to talk about the issues so that we can have fair and unbiased coverage. It's not fair that the only information you can find is so biased and so heavily censored and regulated. So anyway, I hope I don't get completely shut down, deplatformed, or whatever else for saying this, for reading this article. I didn't say it anyway. It's all out there. Okay. Just do a little research. Think for yourself, y'all. Okay. We're in the age of Aquarius. the apocalypse, the unveiling, the truth will be revealed. And it's right in front of your face. Shot through the heart, and you're too late. You give love a bad name. I had to. I love you guys. I'm the Cerebral Genie. Tell me what you think in the comments. Please hit the like button before you head out of here. Please subscribe if you love my vibe and want to become part of the tribe. I would love to have you. And if you appreciate free speech and you appreciate the full truth, then you know I'm your girl because I'm here to give it to you. Till next time, y'all take care of yourself. Do that self-care, that self-love. Self-love is the best love. Don't forget it. Because I'm here to remind you, you're the best and you deserve it. Okay? You deserve the truth as well. So give it to yourself. Be a critical thinker. Don't stick your head in a hole and don't allow the mainstream media to dictate the knowledge that you hold. Think for yourself. Ask questions. It's okay. It's good to ask questions. That's what the philosophers say sets apart a philosopher from just like a normal citizen is the ability to question everything. So question everything because they don't want you to, especially the things they don't want you to question. Question it. Question it all. Can't hurt, right? Doesn't hurt to talk about it. Doesn't hurt to question things. Or does it? Bye.